thanks to our listeners for joining us today. I'm really excited to have Nancy Juetten join us. Since 2008, business bio expert and Get Known to Get Paid mentor Nancy Juetten has earned top 5 and top 10 leaderboard rankings for luminaries in the coaching world, including Callan Rush, Christian Mickelson, Milana Lashinsky, Rich Germain, and many more. She's even grown her own list from 1,186 to just shy of 16,000 during that time. And her income has really escalated dramatically too. And many people are wondering how Nancy does it. She just comes out of nowhere onto the leaderboards, and I am so lucky to have her here today to share some of her secrets. What I love about Nancy, too, is she does it in her own authentic way. She'll speak her truth about how she did it and share with you her secrets today. Most importantly, too, she's going to be inspiring you on how to get known and paid by creating a rewarding and right-fit relationship that can lend fuel to your success for a lifetime without sacrificing your heart and soul in the process. And if you know anything about Nancy, you would know what an authentic, giving, and generous person she is. And she really leads with that in all of her relationships. Whether you're a mentoring client with her, she's part of your JV partnerships, and in anything she does. And I've come to get to know and really like Nancy for that, and I'm delighted to be able to host her on our Expertpreneur radio show today. So Nancy, welcome.
Thank you, Sheryl. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I think we just saw each other a couple months ago, and I know you've been traveling around with a number of joint venture type of engagements too. So thanks for fitting us into your busy schedule. And I can't wait for you to share with us some of your insights and some of the blunders that you've seen smart entrepreneurs make with joint ventures that kind of stall out their success, and some of the secrets that you've seen and the special things that people do that make all the difference to lasting and meaningful relationships and also big income windfalls when joint ventures are done right. So I'm so pleased to have you here. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to share with us today and what's in store for our listeners.
Well, what I'd love to talk about is one of the most powerful ways to get known and get paid for your expert status, even if you're just starting out, and that is the power of joint ventures and strategic relationships. I think that wherever you are along your journey, if you can put this at the top of your list, you will accelerate your income, your impact, and your influence far more readily than any other strategy you might deploy, and that's why I think it's worth talking about.
Well, I sure do, and I'm excited to have an expert like you who's not only kind of learned from other people too, but you've got the track record too behind you. And I think you've turned a lot of heads in the past year, especially as you've been climbing up on those leaderboards and being one of the top promoters and the top salespeople for other people's joint venture products. So not only do you have your own wonderful products, which we'll share a little bit about, that help people get known to get paid, but you've also learned how to partner really, really effectively. Now, some of our listeners might be wondering, are joint ventures right for them? Well, how do they know when they're ready? And, a lot of people are kind of leery and unsure about what joint ventures are all about and if they're right for them. So maybe help us understand a little bit more about them and how we tell if it's right for our own expertpreneur business.
Well, I will say that it absolutely is right for them. And first let me define, what is a joint venture? It's a strategic alliance through which all the parties welcome leverage to distribute their marketing messages to more of the right people to their mutual benefit. Typically what folks do is they collaborate to share leads, rewards, for referred sales, or perhaps co-create a bundle that would be of even deeper service to their ideal clients. And what I want y'all to know is that everyone can benefit from joint ventures. I think sometimes when we hear these words, our eyes glaze over and we don't really understand, and we think, well, maybe 10 years from now we'll do it. Maybe when I've got everything all set up and perfect, I'll do it. But it could be as simple as thinking about who buys your product before? What do they buy before they buy your product, and what do they buy after they buy yours? So, for example, a weight loss coach might be helping people lose weight, and a logical thing for folks to consider is once you've lost weight, what do you likely want to do? A lot of people want to get in shape. So if a weight loss coach and a fitness coach joined forces and referred leads to each other, that could really escalate everyone's results, the people who are losing the weight, the people that are getting in shape, and the two experts who are helping people achieve those results. So creating relationships with people that have complementary services, just think about when you have a new baby. If somebody's pregnant, they're thinking about maternity clothes, and then they're thinking about baby formula, and then they're thinking about getting in shape, and then they're thinking about getting into preschool, and then they're thinking about whatever else is down the line. So don't get so tripped up about the language. Think about where's the perfect partnership out there in the world that you can form that will be mutually beneficial to you, the partner, and the people you serve collectively, because that's where really great things can happen. I'm an internet entrepreneur, and I help people write better bios so they can attract clients, speaking gigs, and media interviews. And so one of the best joint venture partnerships that I've found is that there's an awful lot of folks out there that help people get their books done, whether they get them done in a weekend, get them done over a year's time, get them done in whatever manner, shape, or form. Anyone who's an author is going to need a better bio so that they can get introduced properly from a stage, introduced properly from a television program, introduced properly from a telesummit, and showing up properly on their website. And people who get your books done don't necessarily specialize in getting your bio created. So when I reach out to get your book done experts, they're always happy to hear from me because what I offer adds value without competing with what they do, and everyone's better off because of it. So that's what I want people to start thinking about is where can you add value without competing so that the bigger bundle that you all collectively share has a better impact for everyone, including you and your balance sheet. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, that totally does. And I love how strategic it is, but in a simplistic way, too. It's really, because I think what holds some people back is they're like, well, I don't know who to go and joint venture partner with, and I know you'll share some of your criteria that you consider for joint venture partners and who you would identify as ideal. But I love how it's around complementary services, because I think some people feel that, I'm afraid to share my clients. What if the other person takes my clients? But when you're joint venturing with people with complementary products and services, that'll never be the case because you're not offering the same thing. You're not competing, but you're really just serving that market because they're going to buy other things. But it's really great when they buy from your joint venture partners and you also get some income from it too. Mm-hmm. So that's a wonderful strategy. Tell us some other things that listeners should consider to kind of know when they're ready, and then also what to look for.
Well, I want to say two things about that. I just came away from a 3-day joint venture partner summit with some of the leading internet entrepreneurs in the coaching space, and one of the questions that was asked was, we all want traffic and sales. What are the 2 primary strategies that deliver reliably the biggest impact, the biggest results for the effort? And without a doubt, strategies that everyone agreed on is joint venture partnerships and Facebook advertising. It was powerful because there's so many shiny, bright objects that we're all pursuing to get base hits in the baseball game of growing our business. But when you think about the home run or the grand slam, joint venture partnerships and Facebook advertising, bar none, among the coaches and clients and coaches who lead coaching practices are bar none the leading, far and away best strategies. So I just want everyone to know if you want faster acceleration in your business, this is where you need to be putting your emphasis. And in terms of how to get ready, I want to say this about that. There's many things to do. So I'm going to give you a couple of things. There are a couple of mistakes I want you to avoid making. Number one, if you've written a book that sells for $20, $40, something like that, I want you to recognize right now that the book is just the beginning. It is not the end game. I want you to think about how your book could be turned into a workshop, an experience, an intensive with a higher value, a deeper transformation, and also a higher price point, because joint venture partners want to share the wealth. And if you have a $47 product, very few of them are going to take it seriously and want to use their highly valuable list to promote a low retail value item, regardless of the impact that it might make.
That's a great point you make, Nancy, about having a book, because I know people get really attached to their book or their small, low-value info product, and they think, oh, this would be a great thing. I'm so proud of it, and it really represents my expertise well, and they go to look for joint ventures. But the reality is, if that product that you're wanting somebody to partner with you on isn't enough of a monetary value, like if it's just a $20 book or something, it's not going to attract joint venture partners because it's not going to be worth their while for the time and effort and energy. And there's only so many times they can go to their list of potential clients and existing clients and promote something. So when they go, they want to make sure not only are they proud to represent this product, but also it's going to be monetarily worth their while. So tell us some other criteria. I love that one criteria, and I think some people don't get that, but the dollars have to be significant enough that it's worth someone's while. Tell us some other criteria from being a joint venture expert and working with some of the top people in the coaching industry. What else do they look for, Nancy?
Well, I want to share something, a little anecdote. The most powerful thing you can do when you're just starting out is to ask people, how can you be supportive of what they are trying to accomplish? Because people are invariably tuning into their own radio station. And so one of the best things that I have done is to start first with how can I serve others? Because when I promote other people with a full heart and with full court press, and with the genuine credibility and influence that I've worked hard to create, results happen. The partners notice. I end up on their leaderboard, and invariably they say to me, how can I support you in return? That is the most powerful thing I've learned, and I want to give you an example. About 3 years ago, I got invited to the table at this JV Summit, and I had this $47 product, Bye Bye Boring Bio, that I thought could change the world and that everyone in that room needed. I was so disappointed to find out that nobody was interested in promoting my product. I was apparently playing too small of a game for them to take interest in me. So I made the decision right then and there, I'm going to selectively and strategically choose the partners in this room who need my support, whose product services are things that I believe in, use, and know to be spectacular, and I am going to support them the best that I know how. So over the weekend, I went to this JV Summit, and everyone was given 2 minutes to make a pitch. And I went last, and I said, as I took the stage, how many people in this room over the last 3 years have been seen, heard, supported, and compensated because of my unwavering championship and support? There was applause, there was whoops, there was applause. It was exciting. And I said, well, here I stand before you with an exciting idea where you can also win more and I can win too. Who's with me? And they all continued the support. And then I made my pitch in less than 2 minutes. I held up my piece of paper and said, if you want to play with Nancy, this is the sign-up sheet. Who's in? And when the sign-up sheet came back to me, 95% of the room had their name on it with exclamation points and lipstick stains on the paper suggesting love, and it was just the most decisive, immediate expression of support that I could have ever imagined, and I'm still taking in what that feels like, because these are some of the luminaries, the leaders in the world today who said, anything you want, Nancy, it's done. You have earned it. And so what I want to say to everyone who's here, give before you get. Give like your life depends on it, because your life and livelihood can exponentiate dramatically when you demonstrate that you truly are in it for the long haul. And so I am at this beautiful tipping point now where the world is beating a path to my door with names of people who are luminaries in the field who are happy to be talking to me. And so how much do you want it? And what are you willing to do to earn it? Because I really do think that the world has got a disease, and it's like self-centered-itis. And when you lead first with what your need is and you don't think about how you can lend support to others, I think you end up going it alone a lot longer than you'd want to. And my example is just, sometimes I just can't believe how good my good fortune, but I've earned it one amazing joint venture at a time. And now everything's changed for me. And so give first before you get. And that's probably the best thing I could say.
I mean, it's true in life, but it's really true in business. And I see that so often when people want to form a partnership, they stand up and start the conversation with, I want you to do this for me. And I love that in the example you gave, you totally flipped that on its head and started by, and it was so smart and strategic the way you did it too. You didn't even say, this is what I've done for some of you in the room, tooting your own horn. You said, how many of you have had this from me? And you got social proof from the audience with the whoops and cheers and the lipstick marks on the sheet. And that was proof to anybody who doubted and anybody who hadn't already partnered with you. When they would hear that and look around that room and see that, anybody who had touched and come in contact with you as a joint venture partner really had felt that they received value from you first. And you differentiated yourself. I bet you were the only one in the room that had any of that type of approach, and it made you stand out. And I'm not surprised, because you are an expert in how to stand out, help people get known, to get paid what they're worth, and that's your expertise. But I love that you've used that expertise in an area of joint ventures where it sometimes can be kind of a shark eat shark world and me too first and more competitive. And you bring such a spirit of collaboration and what can I do for you first. And I don't think at all your tremendous success has been an accident. It's actually been very carefully orchestrated, but in such an authentic, giving way. And I think that's what draws people to you in your coaching practice and as a mentor to them, and also in joint venture relationships. So I feel blessed to know you too, Nancy, because I know that you really lead by giving first, and you really do it in a sincere way.
Well, thank you very much. And I think that I'm starting to realize that that's perhaps my secret sauce, and that's something to be very, very proud of. It's not anything that I don't try to be anything other than who I am, and because it's so refreshing, because I guess there's an awful lot of people that aren't like that, but I want to be a beacon of hope and light to people who are like me, who want to succeed on their own terms without selling their soul, to let them know that they can have this too. They don't have to sell themselves out or do anything that feels icky or inauthentic. So here's another point that I want to share with everyone. Remember years ago there was this TV show called The Hollywood Squares, and there were celebrities in the tic-tac-toe board. Well, imagine yourself in the center of your own Hollywood Squares. And if you've thought about who buys your product, buys something before they get to you, and who buys after you, and who do you like, trust, and respect, who are the luminaries in your space where you would only hope to have shoulder-to-shoulder relationships, I want you to dream really big right from the start. Put yourself in the center of that tic-tac-toe board and dream big about who your Hollywood Squares might be. Because something else about me is that I'm a little bit introverted. So folks say, well, have 100 points of light out there that are beating the drum for you that you can beat the drum for in return. 100 is way too many for me to manage. But can I create and nurture and sustain 8 amazing relationships? Absolutely. So I thought I'm going to get the Get Your Book Done experts and the Fill Your Workshops with Ease experts and the Coaching to Create Millions experts and the publicity experts and all the other kinds of service providers that are along the continuum of what it is that I do and how it might add value. And I was just very deliberate about reaching high to serve those people as an advocate and a champion, and now they're all returning the favor. And that's something that every single person who's listening to this can do. If you're a collaborative divorce attorney, maybe you need a joy after divorce coach on your speed dial so you don't have to deal with the emotional collateral of divorce, and you can just share that client with someone who loves to deal with that. If you're a financial planner, maybe, there's so many parallels. So think first about who your Hollywood Squares is going to be. See, hear, and celebrate those people so you know enough about their work to appreciate it with a genuine compliment, and then see how you might add value to what they're doing by supporting them and, advocating for them, offering content for their blog, their newsletter. I mean, who knows what it is that you want to do? The sky's the limit. But the ultimate is when a partner will say, I love your work and I want to do a huge push of solo emails to tell everyone that you are the go-to expert and that your program in this particular space is the single best thing they could possibly choose. And when people do that on your behalf, you know what happens? You get a lot of money. In January, I think I received checks from affiliate partners totaling over $25,000. $25,000 that just showed up in my mailbox, separate and distinct from the coaching, mentoring, and leading of my own workshops and information products that I do. How much better would your life be if those kinds of streams of income were just gladly finding their way to your mailbox? It just makes life a whole lot easier and more abundant, and that's the benefit of it, in addition to, of course, and primarily, of course, because of the friends that you made. One other thing I want to say is sometimes people get very shark-like, and it's all about the results. It's all about the results. I was talking to a big fish over the weekend, and she just looked at me so fiercely, and she said, it's all about the results. And I said, I totally disagree. It's about the relationships, the rapport, and the results. And one without the other just isn't good enough, because otherwise you just burn out those relationships and you always have to go and find new relationships to replace the ones you've burnt out. And I would much rather have deeper, lasting relationships that stand the test of time because they're real and true. I think it's a slower strategy to a greater outcome in every possible way, because results without relationships and rapport doesn't really feel very good to me. So I do it on my own terms, my own best way, and you can too.
I love your triple R, relationships, rapport, and results. And I think that's a mistake even people who've been in the game a long time make. They just focus on those results, and they don't develop those lasting and meaningful relationships. I mean, I think another reason I've seen that you stand out in the industry is because you focused on building the relationship first, and you led with what can I do for you before you do something for me. And people felt that authenticity, and also you developed a feeling of reciprocity. Just naturally when people do something for you, you naturally feel inclined, what can I do back for you? And when you lead with that, you have all this reciprocity feeling out there for you too. And people care too. I mean, people who have very, very successful businesses, they get dozens or hundreds, even thousands of offers of people that want to partner with them. So what you do, Nancy, is you really separate yourself out and become distinctive because you lead with the relationship. And it's something that they're not getting from so many other partners. So it's not just about the money. I mean, a lot of people can give them the money, but you give them the rapport and relationship too. So got a couple more minutes left. Mm-hmm. Tell me and our listeners, a couple other things that you would either caution them to just be careful of, or a couple things that they could do to get started and get ready and get going on this.
Okay. One thing that everyone must do is to create products, programs, and mentoring services that are already proven, that have raving fans and wonderful results to demonstrate the value that they bring. You want to have those things in the can with your own tribe so that when a partner says, how well does it sell? What do people say about it? You're in a position to say, it's proven with my own list. These are the results. That's why I feel confident having you advocate for it, because I know you can get similar results or something better. Never expect a joint venture partnership to be the thing that's going to save the day or rescue a failing business. Create products, services, and programs that are proven, that have fabulous support, so that you can have power over your own destiny regardless of whether a partner advocates for you. That's super important. Another thing that you should also do build your own influence. I want you to get started with speaking as often as you can, growing your own list so people are listening to you, and exploring how you can work with others, even one-on-one, or trading leads for referrals, whatever it takes. Because if you have all of this wonderful product services but nobody's listening to you, you can't make any noise. It's a big, big mistake. You're never going to be completely ready. I tell people, get known for your expert status even before your book, program, speeches, or whatever you're going to offer are done or perfect, because you cannot make noise alone in the desert. You must have fans, followers, and people who are championing you and excited about what you offer. So those are two really, really important things that everyone needs to pay attention to.
Well, and if people want some help in kind of getting ready, getting out there and making their own noise, and getting a strategy on how to get better known so they get paid what they're worth, and also get themselves in a position to be an attractive joint venture partner, and they want some one-on-one guidance or help from somebody like you, Nancy, how do they get in touch with you to follow up?
Well, feel free to visit www.getknowngetpaid.com. Getknowngetpaid.com. You can also visit, send me an email at nancy@authenticvisibility.com, and I will be happy to share with you the ways that we can play together to support your success. And you can also visit authenticvisibility.com. There's a fabulous gift waiting for you. It's how to heal your boring business bio to attract clients and cash now, and it will tell you everything you need to know and do to make that result yours, and it's my gift to you. So just go to authenticvisibility.com, get that gift, and we'll be in communication so that you can get known to get paid for the rest of your life, and know that I can be a fabulous resource to teach you the nitty-gritty details. Because if you're wringing your hands, let's just face it, it's time to start rolling up your sleeves and getting it done from someone who's been there, done that, got the T-shirt, and will show you how to do it in your own best way. That's my mission in life. I hope I have the opportunity to work with you one day and those that want these results for themselves.
Nancy, that's great. Very generous offers, too, and I'd really encourage some of our listeners to take Nancy up on her offer. I've worked with her personally, and I can tell you she really makes a difference and helps make you just stand out in the crowd and be able to serve more people and get your voice heard. So thank you for joining us today on Expertpreneur Radio, Nancy. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you. It's your story. Tell it well. Start today.
Thanks for listening to this episode of